Hello everyone and welcome to the Mylio Photos Coffee Break. My name is Angela Andrew. I'm a product evangelist for Mylio and I'm here to ensure that you are successful with the Mylio Photos application. Today I'm joined by Lori Rubin. She's my counterpart here at Mylio. She also helps out with a lot of the education and training. You'll probably see her quite a lot in the community and she'll be answering questions in the chat, making sure I don't miss anything and sharing some helpful links along the way. Before we get into today's topic, I do want to let you know about some of the other upcoming events we have going on. Lots of fun stuff every day planned for you guys, Monday through Friday. Lori holds weekly live sessions on importing and organizing, setting up new devices, sharing and printing, and search, find, and filter. Those run Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. She also hosts Ready, Set, Go, which is a program tailored exclusively for new users, or maybe you stepped away from Mylio for a while and need a refresher course. Ready, Set, Go is for you. Those are at 3 p.m. Pacific every day, Monday through Friday. There is also a self-paced option, so if 3 p.m. doesn't work out for you to join live, you can watch the recordings and there's a chat pod there. Lori and I are in there often. We check that very frequently, so if you have questions along the way, we are there to help. I also host a live Q&A every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. These are sessions that are kind of ask me anything from family history, organization, photo editing. You can even ask me about photo gear, obviously anything Mylio Photos related. These sessions are for any Mylio Photos user. So whether you're brand new to the program and you have a very introductory kind of question, or you've been with us for a long time and have a really highly technical question, everybody is welcome. And I do my best to get those questions answered for you. On Fridays, we have these sessions called coffee breaks. And next week, we're going to be talking about preparing your photos for prints and some of the things that I do to make sure my pictures look awesome before I send them off to a print lab. So hope you guys can join us for that. That'll be at 11:30 a.m. Pacific next Friday. For today, we have finding your favorite moments, ways to rediscover memories with Mylio Photos. And I think this is just kind of a good refresher and overview of the different tools that are inside of Mylio Photos that once you get your pictures in there that you can find the things you want when you want them. It also helps you curate them so it just makes them easier to find later. So let's go ahead and jump into today's topic and get started. All right, there we go. So what we're going to cover today is why you would want to rediscover memories, how to find those hidden gems, and how to curate those special moments to make them easier to find later. So we're going to go at kind of an overview of a lot of different stuff. And if you have questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. Lori will interrupt me and I can always take questions on the fly if we're covering something you have a question about right now. And we'll have some time for open Q&A at the end for anything. All right, so I found this quote and I thought that it was really apropos to this particular topic. Photos are a return ticket to a moment otherwise gone. I think this is so incredibly true. Photos are incredibly powerful and they freeze this moment in time that we can always go back to. And whether you're looking at things from a year ago, 10 years ago, or even from things from people who came before you, family members, their pictures that you've gotten into your library, these things are so incredibly precious. And the thing that I love about Mylio Photos is it makes it really easy to find those hidden moments. So we're going to talk about some of the different tools and techniques for finding those hidden memories. And Mylio has a lot of little things that you might not have discovered. Some of them are probably like, yeah, I've heard about this before, but you might discover a few new tips and tricks today. So the first thing I want to cover is the Mylio Photos views. And this is kind of what I call automatic organization in Mylio Photos, where you can view things based on what information is in the photos. So we have, of course, our All Photos view. We have our Live Calendar, which it groups everything by date. So no matter what folder it came from, what device you imported it from, it organizes everything by date without you having to move things around into different folders. So it helps you find memories that you might have forgotten about with photo prioritization. So what photo prioritization does in Mylio Photos is it looks at a lot of different factors in your images, like how often you access them, and if you've marked it as being a flag or a star rating. It takes a lot of these different things into consideration and says, hey, this picture might be important to you, and that's going to surface that on your calendar. So that's what powers all of the things that are showing on your calendar. And what I find when I'm going through my live calendar is I'm browsing through and I'm like, wait a second, when was that picture taken? And I go ahead and I click on that and it takes me down this rabbit hole of exploration. So the life calendar is a lot of fun to browse. We also have our map view, and that's a great way to rediscover places you visited and explore more from that place and dive into related images and stories. And then of course we have our people view, which is going to give you groupings of all of your images based on who is in them. We also have folders and albums, which we're not going to talk too much about today, but when you're going and browsing for those hidden memories, the 3 views that I like to go to the most when I'm just wanting to kind of explore: the life calendar, the map view, and people view. And that can be a lot of fun. So let's dig into this a little bit more. So these particular views help you browse the way that you think. And for every person here, you might think a little bit differently than I do and recall things in a different way. So I'm really partial to the calendar view. I'm a very numbers oriented person. So dates kind of click in my mind. And when I think of an event, I typically can recall when it happened. I might not remember where, I might not remember who all was there, but the number part of that clicks in my brain. So I really love the life calendar. For those of you who want to remember where something occurred, so maybe you remember where it happened, but you don't remember when it was or who was there, the map view is awesome for that. And for people who remember things by who was there, you're going to maybe not remember where that was taken or when it happened, but the people view will get you there because you can find things that have that person in them and then branch out. So Mylio Photos adapts to the way that you think and remember, and it makes rediscovery truly effortless. So let's go ahead and jump into the calendar view, which organizes your library by the date things were taken. I'm going to go ahead and jump over here into Mylio. I'm going to close up the info panel so we have all of this beautiful real estate. And I'm going to double click onto my calendar view, which takes me to the top level. And right now I am looking at what we call the decade view, and I'm looking at things year by year. And on any one of these, I can go ahead and browse and see what these top level pictures are. And remember here in 2007, oh yeah, this is in Cefalù, one of my absolute favorite places in Sicily. I can go ahead and click on that, and that takes me back, oh yeah, this is when I was living in Sicily. I was living overseas, and I got to visit some really cool places. Yep, it looks like I visited Cefalù in May. Let's go ahead and dig in there. And there we go. And I can go ahead and find that date. And here's all those pictures from that day trip to Cefalù. If you haven't ever been to Sicily and you do get a chance to go, Cefalù is one of those places I highly recommend checking out. It is just absolutely stunningly gorgeous. But this is one way that I like to browse through these trips and then go, okay, yep, who was I there with? Okay, I was visiting with my husband and we just kind of traipsed around the city. It was a nice, warm, sunny day. And this is a great way to just browse through your memories. I can go ahead and hit the back arrow here and say, okay, where else did I go that month? Where was this photo taken? Let me go ahead and click into there. Oh yes, I remember we went with some friends to a town called Noto. And there was this flower festival and they took a couple of pictures of us and shared them. So there's lots of ways that you can find related images and just dive through your memories and find those kind of hidden moments. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the presentation and we'll take a look at the map view. So if you like to recall things based on where things were taken, the map view takes the location information that's in your pictures and populates the map with little pins that you can click on and see all of the pictures from that particular place. So let me jump over here and we're going to go into the map view. Here we go. And you can see here's all of the different places that I visited in the US. I can go ahead and pan over and see places I visited in Europe and different places around the world. And if I want to go ahead and look through here and go, wow, you know what? I don't remember where I was here in New Mexico. Let me go ahead and click on that. Okay, there's some road trip pictures. There's some scanned images. Okay, that one I think is from El Paso actually, that it just, when you're looking at the map, the more zoomed out you are, the more pictures it groups together. And so there's just lots of different images here from that area. If I go ahead and click back and I want to get a little bit more detailed view, I can go ahead and grab this zoom slider here on the right and zoom in closer. And as you get in closer, you'll notice that those pins start to spread out and you get a little bit more detail. And you can get a little bit more information about what is happening where. So there those images are my grandparents or my grandmother and her brother. That was taken in El Paso. All right, here's some different places. Again, these were road tripping across the United States. Which was this one here down in Arizona? I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. Ah, yeah, this is when I went to the Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument in Arizona, and it was really beautiful sunset, and you can just dive into your memories based on the places that you've gone. And it's a great way to find things. Now, if you're looking for something from a specific location, you can always type in a location here at the top. And let me say, I want to see everything from San Francisco. I'm going to go ahead and type that in, and it's going to go ahead and jump me to that area on the map, and I can see all of the pictures I've taken around San Francisco. Now, not all of my pictures have GPS information. The things I capture with my cell phone are automatically embedded with GPS information, but the things with my big camera are not. So you might have to manually add some of that information later. It's really easy. We've got manual articles, and I think we even did a coffee break on this at one point. So there's other tutorials you can find to add that information to your pictures, but it's also a great way if you have just even a few cell phone pictures that can take you down that little rabbit hole to find related information. So let me go ahead and click on these ones here of my mom and I, and I'm gonna go ahead and just click on one of these little selfies here. Up at the top, here is a little icon called, we'll call it a quick action, and I can say show in the calendar. And that's going to take me to everything from that day. So no matter what camera it was taken on, who I was with, all of that, again, it's just these little branches that take you off and help you rediscover memories. All right, so that gives you kind of an overview of how to use the map. Let's move on to the people view. And this one is probably the one that most people are going to use. I think the people who are in our images are usually those people who are the most important to us, and it's probably going to be attached to those memories that you want to find. So let's go ahead and jump in to that section. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my people view. And you can see I've got a lot of people here in my library. And I'm going to go here and click on all of the pictures of my grandma and make these a little bit smaller so we can see them. And I'm also going to go up here to the More menu. And right now it's set to zoom to face, which means it zooms in every picture so I can see just her. I want to see the full context of all of these images, so I'm going to turn that off. And now I can see all of those images. All right, so here's a great one. I love this one. When my grandma came out to visit me when I lived in Virginia, we went out to Portsmouth, and it was a really, really cold day, but she was a good trooper, and she went and had her picture taken behind the sign. And this one here has some other information, so I can click on Photo Explorer. I can explore this location on the map if I want to see where this picture was taken. I can see other pictures from this day, or I can even go straight here to the folder where this picture lives on my computer. So lots of different ways you can use the people view. You can also open up the info panel here, and if this picture has more people in it than just that one, you can see all of the people who are tagged in that image. And I can go here and I can click on this and say show photos of Bertha Evans, and that's going to again take me back to the people view and show me all of the pictures that she's in. So it's just a great way to connect through your library and find those images of the people who are the most important to you in your life. All right, so that's kind of an overview of the views in Mylio Photos. Here are a few other tools that I think might be helpful. We have the On This Day Quick Filter. So if you've used things like Apple Photos or probably Google Photos, you've probably noticed that there is a area in there where you can see all the pictures that happened on this day. Mylio has this too. It's a little bit buried. I wish it was a little bit easier to access, but I want to make sure you guys know where to find this. So it's under the quick filters, by date, by day, and on this day. So let's go ahead and jump over here. I'm going to go here to my all photos, and I'm going to open up the sidebar here into my quick filters, and it's by date, by day, and there's on this day. Go ahead and click that pin. And now I can find all of the pictures of everything that happened on this day throughout the years. And this is going to change depending on what day it is. So you're going to get different images based on the different day that it is. So I think this is a lot of fun and just really a great way to kind of, again, explore what was going on in your life. And as I glance through this, I can go, oh, that was the time that we had a mouse eat through the drain hose on our dishwasher. Fun times. So lots of different memories that you can find through this. I had completely forgotten about that. Honestly, that's one I would rather not remember. That was not fun. All right. So we also kind of mentioned already the quick actions. On any given photo that you click onto, you have these icons that show at the top. If you're not seeing these, you'll want to make sure that you're in single image view. So you click on an individual image to light it up. And up here in the More menu, you can turn these quick actions off. So right here under Quick Actions, you can toggle them off if you don't want to see them. For most people, I recommend leaving them on. I find them very helpful. And again, this first one, if I click on that, that's going to show me all of the pictures that in the folder where this image resides. Let me go ahead and open that back up. If I click on this one here, this is a show in the calendar. It's going to show me every picture from that particular day. And again, as I'm going through and looking at these images, I'm going, okay, what is this? That's a picture that I probably took by accident. I can clean that up while I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and click delete and delete that from my devices. Definitely want to keep the ones I have of pumpkin though. All right. And then lastly, we have this third one here, which is our Photo Explorer. And you're going to find you can explore this on the map. So I can go ahead and click on this and see where this was located. I can go ahead and go back here to the picture and I can see even explore the location on the web. So again, it uses that GPS information and it'll pull it up in your preferred map service. So the first time you click on this, you'll get to choose between, I believe it's Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Bing Maps. So you can choose which one you like to use, and that'll launch your browser with your preferred map provider so you can see what's going on in that area. If you took a picture at a restaurant, for instance, like maybe some delicious food you had, you can figure out what that restaurant was and even get directions to go back if that's what you'd like to do. So again, lots of different ways to click around and rediscover and find things in your library. We also have the info panel, which shows who's in the picture. If there's GPS information, it'll show where it was captured. If you've added that image to an album in Mylio Photos, that will be there. And if there's any notes, so just to kind of give you an idea of where that information is, that's over here in this right panel. If you're not seeing it, toggle the info button on here on the right. You have your title, your caption. If you scroll down here, you can say if there's any people that are tagged. You can figure out where this was taken, the address and so forth, and if it's been added to any albums. So just different ways to find and navigate and get to different things in your library. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide and talk about search. So Mylio, the search in Mylio is different and more powerful than in a lot of different tools that I've used. The reason for this is what we call dynamic indexing, and this happens when you import new media into Mylio Photos. So if you've ever thought that maybe the import process takes a little while, maybe it's a little slow, it's because all of this is happening in the background. What it's doing is it's looking for AI smart tags and doing object recognition for over 1,000 activities, objects, and properties about your photos. So it's going through and basically using AI to find these recognizable objects in your pictures. It's doing optical character recognition, which basically means it reads text in photos. So if you take a picture of a street sign, Mylio can read that and you can search it and it will pull that kind of thing up. It does face detection, so it's looking for those recognizable faces. It's also scanning all of your image metadata. So all of the camera information, all of your copyright and who captured the information, that information, and of course, all of your GPS and location information. All of this information is put into what we call the dynamic index, which is used by dynamic search in Mylio Photos as well as quick filters and other tools. What it does is it makes Mylio incredibly easy to find things. And it transforms your library into a searchable archive that helps you rediscover those hidden memories. All right, so let's talk a little bit about dynamic search. And this is a tool that you can use to search across your entire library. There's 3 different tools inside of Mylio Photos for searching. We've got dynamic search, we have quick filters, and we have the find tool. You can use them independently or you can use them all together. It's really up to you and what you're trying to find. So dynamic search is kind of that global search. It searches everything. So let me go ahead and jump over here to my library and I'm going to go to search to click on this little magnifying glass right here. And let's just type in, what do I want to search for? Let's make it easy and we're just going to let's do dog. I usually do cat, so I'm going to do dog today. And this is going to find all of the images in my library with dogs. It's going to include anything that has dog in the file name or in the folder name. It's going to have anything in the title or description. It's going to have any keyword with dog. It's also going to use AI object recognition with those AI smart tags to recognize images that have dogs. So it's very powerful and it searches a very wide parameter of things. So that's kind of level 1 search. It's to take your whole library and get you going in the right direction. Next up, oops, wrong direction there. Next up, we have our quick filters, which helps you narrow down the results. And when you're looking at images, you might want to take those images of dogs, for instance. I'm going to go here to photos and say view all. And over here, we have our quick filters. And I might want to type in German Shepherd. There we go. And I have a smart tag. This is the AI smart tag for German Shepherd. And let's go ahead and narrow down this dog search to just find German Shepherds. All right, there we go. There's a good handful. And from there, from narrowing this down, we then step down to the find tool. And this helps you locate something specific on the current page. So I'm going to go ahead and step back here a moment. I'm actually going to switch this over to, let me just do this to cat because I know I've got tons of things in here that can make this real easy. And I'm going to go ahead and pull off that German Shepherd smart tag, click view all. And let's say I want to find all of the pictures of my cat, Macallan. I can do a Command or Control F. That's going to pull up the find tool. And I can just type in Macallan and go ahead and hit return. And that's going to go ahead and jump me to the pictures of Mac here on this page. And these are because I tagged his name. I do go through and tag my pets. You can use manual tags in Mylio to do that. It doesn't have pet face recognition. I wish it does. But right now, those manual tags work great. And so I typed in Macallan. I have 153 results here. And I can go ahead and click through these to find that picture of Mac that I'm looking for. And so these 3 layers of search, again, are great ways to narrow down what you're looking for and find specific things and be able to rediscover those memories. All right, moving on, let's talk a little bit about curating and highlighting those special moments, because as you're going through and rediscovering these things, there's probably some instances you're going to come across that you want to mark as special and make them a little easier to find in the future. So we're going to talk about why this matters. It's really to make things easy to find. And the key tools to do this in Mylio are going to be your categories, your albums, events, and quick collections. So let's talk a little bit more about each of those. The first level we have is categories, and categories power a variety of different things in Mylio photos. But for your everyday use, what you want to know is that they're broad organizational buckets for specific types of photos. So you might want to categorize things that are family or work, travel. I have things in there from my husband's time in the Navy. I have things from my camera clubs, different broad categories of images that you want to be able to group together. So that's what categories do. So let me jump back over here to Mylio. And there's many, many different ways to add categories. I'm going to go ahead and go to my all photos. And the easiest way is here in your folders view is to assign a category to a folder of images. So what I can do here, I'm going to go ahead and close that find window, is click on this tap to categorize icon right here. You can see it on each one of these folders. Click on that, and that lets me assign a category. Now we have several here that are kind of top level. These are the most common ones, but you can also choose custom, and that opens up the full category list. So you can create your own categories. You can edit the list and add new categories here by clicking the pencil, and then check off what that particular folder has in it. And that just helps you kind of organize your library, and then later on, you can use these quick filters to filter by category. And there's a bunch of other stuff you can do with categories, but that's probably the most common and easy thing you can do. You can also add categories to files as you import them. In the import dialog, there's an option there to add a category to everything you're importing, and that's another great way to do this. All right, we have albums. And albums are virtual collections grouped for a specific purpose. And I like to do these for travel, for projects I'm doing around the house, for my photography portfolio. I mean, there's really limitless numbers of ways that you can use albums. And before we jump into Mylio, I do want to do a quick little overview of the difference between folders and albums, because this is something we get asked quite a lot. Albums are virtual containers, and these let you organize your photos without moving or creating duplicates. Folders, on the other hand, are the actual location of where your files live. If you want to have a picture in more than one folder, you have to physically duplicate it. So folders are great for that top level organization, your physical structure. I like to use a year, month, day structure and have everything grouped by year. Whereas albums let you organize things in a real big variety of ways. So let's jump over here into Mylio and take a look at that. I'm going to go here to my albums view, and you can see that I have a bunch of different stuff here. Some of the ways you might want to use this are for travel. So I have a top level album here for travel, and inside of that I have different albums for different trips. Another way that I've used this here is for remodel and refinishing projects in my house, and I have one sub album for each one of these different projects. You can see that there's a lot of different ways to do this. I have a set of prints that I did a photo restoration of, and here's what I started with. Here are my edited versions, and then here are the prints as I got them back from the print lab, ready to hang up on my wall. So there's just different things that you can put together, and you can group things in whatever way makes sense to you. Albums are incredibly flexible, and I use them quite a lot in my organization. All right, so then jumping forward here to events. And this is something we could go into a lot more in depth, but events are based on the date that something happened. So you can add a notation to the calendar about a specific event. So let me go ahead and jump over here to my calendar view. And you'll notice that I have all of these little dots on my calendar. These are events inside of Mylio Photos that I have set up and created to find specific things easily. So let me go ahead and scroll down here, and I want to go to my trip to the Oregon coast. I can click on that. Yep.
Angela? Oops, yep. Sorry to interrupt. Vic is just asking if you could slow down just a little bit during the presentation.
Sorry. Understand, we're trying to cover a lot of information today, Vic. But if there's a specific question, please feel free to let me know. I will do my best to slow down. I just don't want to take up too much of your time, and I'm trying to cover a lot, so my apologies. All right, so let me go ahead and jump back here. From the calendar view, you can see we have these dots, and I can click on any one of these dots, and that's going to jump me to all of the pictures that are part of that event. Now, if I go over here to the info, I can see how I set up this particular event. There's a date range, so this event is based on a specific range of dates. I can add an event name, a description, and so forth. So there's a lot of different information you can add, and Mylio automatically groups these things together. So let me go ahead and go back and show you how to create a new album, or excuse me, a new event. What I want to do here is go over here to the right, and you can see there's this little icon with the calendar, and it says add new event. Go ahead and click on that, and this lets you create a new event. So you can put in a date range whenever you want this to start and end. Add your title and description. Again, you can use categories here as well. You can set the priority. You can choose if how important was this event to you? Was it an event of the day, event of the month, life event, and so forth? And this also impacts what shows up at the top of your calendar. So what pictures are displayed when you browse through that calendar. And then here, scoped by, most commonly you're going to use this date option, but there's also a folder option. So you can have an event based on an entire folder. So that's how you create an event. Again, we've got full tutorials on working with events, but I just wanted to show you that it's possible to curate these things to be able to jump through and rediscover those memories. So I can go back here and say, oh yeah, that's right, I took a road trip with my mom. Let me take a look at those memories. And then I can jump back through here and see, all right, where were these things taken? And, just explore. It's really a wonderful way to be able to browse through Mylio Photos. Now, I think events are something that probably don't get enough love. A lot of people don't realize that they're there or how to use them. And I really think that they're very powerful. So we'll talk more about that in the future. We'll go more in depth. But for now, that gives you an idea of what's there. And I think Lori's been adding some helpful links also to the chat. All right, let's go ahead and jump back over here to Quick Collections. This one is probably not going to be used quite as much, but it also is very powerful. So we talked about albums, which are manual groupings. You can do these virtual collections of things based on things that you actually put into those albums. Quick Collections, I like to think of them like smart albums, and it dynamically updates for certain things. Let's go ahead and jump into Mylio, and I'm going to give you an example here of a quick collection that might be useful here. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go back to my all photos, and I'm going to go back to my grid view, and I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, go back here, and let's say I want to have a really quick and easy way to find all of the pictures from my big camera from last year. So I can go to by date. Let's say by year here. I can go into 2020s. And there's 2024, so I want to find everything from last year. And I want to limit this to a specific camera. So I can go down here by camera and lens and choose by camera. Go down to Canon. And I'm going to use my Canon R6. I'm going to go ahead and pin that. So now everything I'm showing here is from 2024 and my R6. Now I can go ahead and save this. If I want to come back to this particular grouping of images later, I can go here to this Quick Collections icon, click on that, and say Save as New Quick Collections. So I'm going to say 2024 R6, and we can go ahead and save that. And now anytime, I'm going to go ahead and close out of that for now. Anytime I want to go back to that same collection, I can go back here to the Quick Collections, and there's my 2024 R6. I can click on that, and it's going to pull up all of those pictures. So again, Quick Collections are a great way to browse and find things quickly. If you have a specific set of images that you want to have filtered a certain way, Quick Collections can be very useful to browse with. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of a quick overview for curating your images. Use categories for that broad organization. Create albums. Those are those virtual collections for personalized collections. Use events to highlight milestone memories on your calendar. And then use Quick Collections to automatically group photos with specific criteria. So there are a lot of different ways that you can browse and curate in Mylio Photos. And I just wanted to give you an overview here today of what's possible. We have a lot of other sessions that go more in depth on each one of these things, but I just wanted to let you know that these things were possible and we can answer any questions and get into those things now. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor and take a look at the chat and see what we can find. All right, so let's see. Deborah's saying, suggesting for something to highlight at Roots Tech because I'm a bit of a busybody. Be upfront about how complex and robust this program is, but highlight the incredible level of tech support and how many possibilities are available at education and how to. Absolutely. I never really shy away from that, Deborah. I know Mylio is a big program, and that's why Lori and I are here, is to help make that process as easy as it can be for you. Mylio it's big because it's very adaptable to a lot of different things. And one thing I like to emphasize with people is just because I show that something's possible with Mylio doesn't mean you have to use it. Use the aspects that make the most sense to you. And if all you want to do is face tagging, that's all you need to do. You don't have to get into every single little thing, but it's nice to know that it's there should you need it. All right. Great suggestion though. I definitely, I'd never want to let people know that try to make it sound easier than it is. All right. Let's see here. Donald's asking about the Q&A from yesterday. So Donald, we don't typically record Q&As, but, let me rephrase. We record them for internal purposes because we go back and we analyze them, and that's a lot of what shapes what we put into the product. We give out information, the things that you're asking. We share that with the team so we can improve the product. But we do have a recording for internal purposes. If there was a question that you do want to hear, if you message me or Lori privately in the community, we can send you the internal recording for that, but we don't publish it out there publicly. These sessions that we do today, the coffee breaks, these are recorded and they will be published. Lori usually has those up within a day or two. All right. So Deborah's saying, as you add pictures, will they show up in a Quick Collection that has those features marked? Yes, absolutely they will. So every time you relaunch that Quick Collection, it will refresh and show any new images that fit those parameters. All right. And Carol, if you're looking for the link to the recording for today's session, you'll find that at community.mylio.com, and Lori will get that published tomorrow, or not tomorrow, probably Monday. All right. Deborah, you did not sound like a critique. I absolutely hear your point, and I 100% agree. Totally taken in the spirit in which it was intended. Let's see here. All right. Carol, glad to hear that your Mylio is now working properly. That's awesome. Are there any other questions? I don't see any hands up in the participants list, and I don't see any other questions here in the chat. But you guys are welcome to go ahead if you want to unmute and ask a question, or if you want to put it into the chat. We've got a few minutes and I can go ahead and answer or clarify. If there's anything I went too fast over in the presentation, just let me know and I'll be happy to go over it a little bit more in depth. I know I speak fast. That's just me.
So, Angela,
Yes.
just a comment. So, Carol was asking about all these links that I have. And if anybody wants to save those, if you go to your meeting chat window in the upper right-hand corner, there's those triple dots. And hopefully you can see Save Chat. And that will save a
Excellent.
little text file of all those links for you.
Perfect. All right. Great tip. And Edward, you've got your hand up.
Yes. With shared albums, I've sent them out. People are able to open them. When they say they're not able to download them, what should I be saying to them?
So when you have a shared album, there is a setting when you share the album to make it easy to download. So if I go here to, let's go into my albums, just find one that I have shared recently. And go ahead and open that up. All right, so you see here there's an option to download all. When you go ahead and create that album, there's a checkbox for you to check that'll give you that option. Otherwise, they'll need to go image by image. And I don't think it'll let you do it that way. There is the download option right here, so the little download image button at the top. That might only be present if you say create that download all. But if I go here and say republish, the setting that you're looking for is this create downloadable archive. And that should give them a button to download.
Okay.
If that button is there and they're not able to download, my suspicion is they have something blocking downloads in their browser. They also probably don't want to do that on a mobile phone. They'd want to do that on a computer.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, Angela.
Yes.
So if a person doesn't have Mylio, will they still be able to open that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when you do these shared albums, if I go ahead and say, anybody, when you share that link that Mylio creates, anybody that you share that link with can open it in their browser on their phone, their tablet, or their computer. When they do that, if you have that checkbox to create this download all option, if you click that, that's just going to download JPEGs to your computer of these images. They don't have to have Mylio. Now, Mylio is going to give a lot better experience for browsing, but they can put them wherever they want. They can just save them to their hard drive. They can put them into Apple Photos or Google Photos, whatever they use, and they have access to those pictures.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing to note about that is the images that you download from a shared album, these are what we call optimized quality. So they're a good quality image that's printable up to a 5x7, but they are not the original quality files.
Gotcha.
Later on with Mylio Drive Plus, if you have a Mylio Drive Plus subscription, that will be coming to be able to do that. But for right now, it's the optimized files.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And let's see here. Who's up next here? Sheldon, was that just you I was talking to?
No, that was Vic.
Oh, that was Vic. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, Sheldon, then you are up next.
Yeah, would you put up the slide that you had, the last slide with the summary of the different ways? Just before that, yes. Should
Yep.
for a minute? I'd like to snag that
Yep, go for it.
screenshot.
Did you have any other questions?
Okay, where was that corner up in the upper right-hand corner that Lori mentioned that we could get the script?
Yeah, so inside of the chat box, inside of Zoom, there should be, I believe it's a 3 dots, and you can click that and you should be able to save the chat transcript.
I don't see the 3 dots.
Let's see here. Are you on a computer or are you on a mobile device?
I'm on a computer.
Okay. Any suggestions, Lori?
I know some people aren't able to see that. So my suggestion would be if you want to get a transcript of this, just contact me in the community or just email me, Lori@Mylio.com, and I'll get that to you.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yep, we can definitely do that. All right, Edward, did you have another question?
Yes, a
Okay.
little technical.
Okay.
Someone sent me a shared album in Apple Photos.
Okay.
When I go to Photos in Mylio, it does not appear.
Correct. So the reason for that is because it's a shared album. It's not your pictures. Mylio can only import your pictures. It's a copyright protection thing. So images that are shared with you aren't owned by you. But what you can do is in Apple Photos, probably the easiest way to do this is going to be on your phone or a tablet. Go into Apple Photos, into that shared album, select everything in that album, click the share icon there in Apple Photos, and share those images directly to Mylio Photos. And that'll get them into your library.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see what else we've got here. All right. Perfect. Looks like we covered all the questions. Is there anything else before we sign off for the day? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, just a reminder that we have lots of other opportunities for you to jump in and ask questions. Check out Lori's sessions at both 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific. And jump into my Q&As on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're a lot of fun and they span a wide variety of topics. It's really anything goes, ask me anything, a lot of fun. Next week, join me for preparing your photos for studying prints. There's going to be a little bit of photo editing involved. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you can make it for that as well. With that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.